Welcome to the Friday edition of the Sack Lunch Show. It's Friday, March 20th, the year of our Lord 2020. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. This is the day that the Lord has made. We appreciate you tuning in to the Sack Lunch Show here on the Flint Media family of radio stations. We are presented by David White and the gang at Cook Supply and Services, the Bonnie Blue House, Dean Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, H&R Block in Bainbridge, Donaldsonville, and Blakely, A-Back at Bainbridge, Stewart Auto Parts, B3 Property Management, my friend Brian Howell with United Rentals, and the Nomad Nurse.
And don't forget Bell Payne, Attorneys at Law, Brownlee Glass Company, Carter's Fried Chicken, Dr. Homer Breckenridge III, Hadaway Ford, Bernie's Transmission Specialist, and Stone's Home Centers.
We're also brought to you by Specialty Auto, Bainbridge DUI School, Dixie Dandy, Southern Harvest Equipment, Mitchell County Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, CNR Parts and Auto Body, and South Georgia Motorsports.
And don't forget New South Roofing, Grassy Cuts, Seminole Hydraulics, the law offices of Silvas Ambrose, Lindquist & Co., Westwood Schools, Hill Stump Grinding, Lane's Medical Shop, and Studio Tees.
We'll be broadcasting live this afternoon at the Piggly Wiggly Food for Less, Highway 39 South in Donaldsonville. Now, it's a little bit different type of live remote. Normally, we're going to be there telling you about all the great specials
right.
and, all the power buys throughout the store and all the money you can save. And you can still save money by shopping there. But we're going to be there today to tell you that the store is open. The store is clean.
Yes.
The store is stocked. They've got toilet paper. They've got bottled water.
Right.
They've got all the essentials that you need. Another thing that the Piggly Wiggly is doing is they have created a senior hour from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Monday through Friday, where senior citizens can go in there without having to worry about people like Jaybird all up on them.
Coughing and pushing them down.
Yep, you got a little bit of room to spread out. The carts will be clean. They're triple cleaning the entire store, and then they do an entire overnight cleaning. So when the senior citizens get there first thing in the morning, the carts are clean. Man. Everything is freshly cleaned, and you have a little bit of space to move without having more people all up on you. So
excellent idea.
We'll be broadcasting live at the Pig this afternoon from 3:30 to 5:30. Let me tell you how I'm handling this, Johnny.
Tell me.
I went to the grocery store last Sunday. I've not been back. You know why I haven't been back?
Why?
Because I, first of all, bought enough groceries to last me a week or two, but I also realized that going in for a can of green beans might not be the best idea right now. Even if it takes an hour, I don't need that can of green beans as bad as, as much as it would cost me if I were to get sick.
Or
get somebody I love sick. So this afternoon, while I'm at the Pig, I'm going to pick up a few more things that we need. And then guess what? I'm going to do my grocery shopping, my normal grocery shopping.
Right.
I'm going to get the things that I need, and then I'm going to stay out of the grocery store for a week. I'm going to let other people go.
Right.
I'm going to let, somebody that can't get there today go tomorrow, and that person that can't get there tomorrow, maybe can go Sunday and things. I'm going to use some common sense.
Right. The theme of this whole pandemic, is common sense.
Yeah. Ryan introduced us to the difference between an epidemic and a pandemic yesterday. Ryan, can you refresh our listeners' memory?
A epidemic takes place in a region.
Small region.
So
small.
Georgia. Maybe it would be considered the United States. Maybe. It might still be a pandemic. But if it's more than one country, then it's a pandemic.
So we're there.
Yeah, we're there. We're there.
We're pandemic.
I think I may be proven wrong by history, but I think it was the AIDS epidemic because it was,
It started in
it was what I'm
Sudan
saying
or something?
Well, it may have. I don't know all that part of the history. What I'm saying is when it became an issue here in the United States, it wasn't necessarily a worldwide issue at that same exact time.
Right.
So
now it is.
Yes. Now it is. But back then, it maybe I'm wrong.
It's the king of pandemics.
Yeah. Well, the good news is, Johnny.
Hey.
There have been some breakthroughs.
All right.
As it relates to medicine.
For
COVID-19. Now, I don't think it's officially been declared a cure or a treatment, but there is a medicine commonly known as Plaquenil. That is possible. It could be a treatment or even a preventative cure.
Really?
They're still working on that.
Thank you,
They've
God.
not officially declared that.
That's
but
all Jesus.
President Trump said yesterday that, and the nice thing about this medicine is, and this is where people got confused, he said that it was already approved by the FDA. That is absolutely true. They've not done specific FDA testing for COVID-19 with this medicine.
Okay.
So it's approved for other things.
Right.
It's approved for Sjogren's syndrome.
Okay.
It's approved for, I think, rheumatoid arthritis and things like that. So it's a real medicine that's already in the marketplace, but it's not necessarily been extensively tested. I think it has been tested, but not extensively tested for COVID-19. Right. But the good news is they are working in that direction.
Good.
When I mentioned it to my brother last night, it's like a little humble brag, my doctor brother, right? But when I mentioned it to him, I said, "This is a good thing, right?" ? And his response, he was in a meeting, so he couldn't get real detailed, was yes! !
Oh, good.
So we're not there.
Right.
We got a long way to go. We're still in the first inning.
Right.
But if we can come up with
we're coming to the plate though.
Something, we've got a guy coming off the bench that nobody thought.
That's right.
And Charlie Culbertson, Charlie Clutch is going to get in there, and he's going to rope one into the gap.
Yes, sir.
Something like that. So,
I heard that coming out of the bullpen.
Yeah, all of that to say this. Just within the last 10 minutes, right before we signed on the air, completed an interview with Representative Darlene Taylor.
Yes.
She's the representative for District 173 here in the state of Georgia. She covers Thomas, Grady, and parts of Decatur counties.
Cool.
She is a legislator, been a legislator for almost 10 years. She's also a small business owner.
Cool.
I got her to give me her perspective on COVID-19, what it means from the legislative level, what it means as a small business owner, her advice to her constituents in Southwest Georgia, similar to our interview that we did with Senator Dean Burke earlier this week.
Right.
So I think you'll enjoy this interview with Darlene Taylor. I'll tell you a little bit about her if you've never met her or don't know her personally. First of all, she's a very intelligent person. You can tell that by having just a short conversation with her. She's very smart. She's also a very nice lady. Those two things aren't always
they always don't go together.
But she's a very nice person. She's a successful small business owner, and she is now a longtime legislator here in the state of Georgia.
Cool.
From Thomasville. So this is my interview with Representative Darlene Taylor. Just literally, it is hot off the press.
Yeah.
I had to literally save it and load it while we were thanking the sponsors. That'll tell you how quickly, how long ago it was that I did it. So I hope you enjoyed this interview with Representative Darlene Taylor from District 173 here in Southwest Georgia. She gives her perspective on everything from the legislature being, quarantined, to, what she's doing as a small business owner. So here's Representative Darlene Taylor and my interview conducted just a few minutes ago. Committee and the chairman of the Subcommittee of Appropriations. Representative Taylor, thank you so very much for making some time for us here today.
Well, good morning. I'm happy to be able to share some time with y'all this morning.
Well, thank you. I'll start by asking first, I hope that you and your family are doing well and staying healthy so far during this COVID-19 pandemic that the world is experiencing.
Oh, we are. We're taking the precautions. We're doing what the leadership is telling us to do. We're listening to the doctors and the professionals. I think that's the best thing everybody can do. Absolutely. I agree 100%. You being a member of the House of Representatives here in the state of Georgia since 2011, by the way. So you've been there soon be a decade now. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It goes by quickly. I'm sure. The most recent developments out of our state legislature, I think I saw yesterday, where the state Senate was under a bit of a quarantine after a member of the state Senate tested positive
for the COVID-19. Is that applying to the state house as well, or is that just the Senate side?
It is applying to both sides. I think that people are self-quarantining as they need to be doing. We need to be doing this social distancing anyway. Everybody needs to do it. You don't know that you've walked by somebody in the market and tell me there have been too many people in the markets lately. Honestly, we've seen crowds in the stores, and I think that's dying down a little bit now. But yes, the House is looking at the same rules. If you've been exposed, you need to take those precautions to protect the public and yourself and your family.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. So far, the direction coming from the healthcare professionals and those that actually know what they are talking about tends to be wash your hands, social distancing, no large groups. Are we doing enough of that? Do you think we're doing our part, or do you think we need to be doing more?
I think we're off to a good start. I'm still seeing a few people out. I think we are seeing people not in as large crowds. I know my church, for example, we're watching on TV. We're not going to have services. Why take a chance? And it's not myself that I worry about personally. It would be somebody that I could accidentally infect. And that's what we're trying to do. Make sure that we don't unintentionally subject somebody else to a virus that we're not even aware that we have. That's how this has spread so quickly and so far-fetched. And I think everybody needs to be doing it. And I think people are listening. I'm seeing less people on the road. There's less people in the stores now. There was a big rush earlier this week and last week, and I think that has died down.
I agree 100%. I've watched the traffic slow down each day this week as it seems like more and more people are finding a way to either stay home or limit their travel and being out and about. Now, we talked just a moment ago about the state Senate and the rest of the legislature here in our state currently doing a bit of a self-quarantine if they were exposed this past Monday,
yes,
when a special session was held to approve the governor's amended budget. I think I have that information correct. That was the purpose of that special session?
Yes, that's correct. That was the purpose of the special session. And I think it was regretful that the senator did show up. Evidently, he had, I'm going by what you hear on the news, that he thought he may have had, an upper respiratory or sinus or maybe something as simple as just our allergies that we all get. But he did have that unintended consequence of having perhaps carried germs there to the House and Senate.
Well, absolutely. And that goes back to the directives from the healthcare professionals to, just try to stay home as much as you can. The amended budget that the legislature approved and that the governor signed allocated about $100 million, I believe is right, for emergency spending. Is that going to be primarily used for, health departments or
yes,
other state organizations that are working hard to try to combat this disease?
Yes, that's where it will be used. We need to make sure that we have the supplies necessary in the various health departments. Every community, we have home rule in the state of Georgia, so every community, with the help and guidance of the state, is trying to be supplied. Every community knows their needs. What we need in South Georgia is not what they need in Atlanta. So we have to set things up differently. We're different sizes and different needs within the communities. I can share, they have testing in some places, but you should never go just and ask for a test. You have to have it authorized by a doctor before you go. So they have some test sites set up, but you need to make sure that you are really needing the test. They have more tests available now than they did a week ago. But you need to make sure that you get the approval from your doctor before you just show up to be tested.
Sure. I think that's great advice. Now, as we move forward with this fight against COVID-19, do you foresee any additional steps that the legislature might take, maybe once the 14-day self-quarantine period is up?
I do. The House has passed out our budget for the next coming fiscal year, the 21 budget. I believe we will get some changes to that, and it will be putting more dollars into our needs for the health departments, into the health care. Rural Georgia is, to me, a worse condition only because we have fewer people, and the necessity for some of the things may not have seemed as great. But this has given us an opportunity to look at it and see we do need to put more dollars in our health care for rural communities. We're working on a number of things. That's, again, a big action that we've had this year, trying to get broadband. For one example of it, our rural communities don't have broadband. They don't have access to the internet from out in the country. Our kids aren't in school. Many places they're able to go online and do their work. I know some of the different communities are making arrangements, temporary at the most. I've heard of some that are actually putting not towers, but the ability to connect to the internet on school buses and taking it out into the rural communities so kids out there can. We're looking for innovative ways to do that. Anything we can do to make sure our kids aren't far behind. We don't want them exposed to anything, but they still have to get their education. So every community is a little different, but we're going to put some dollars into that. We've had it magnified how important it is for us to have the internet.
Absolutely. That's great to hear. Now, I'd like to ask your advice as both a legislator and as a small business owner here in Southwest Georgia for the listening public out there. What advice would you give your constituents besides the, if you have any, besides the wash your hands and the social distancing model?
Well, I do own a company here in Thomasville, and I have done a lot of pre-thinking. We already had some things in place. We already, quite frankly, had our hand sanitizers throughout the building. I already have several of my employees that telecommute. That's their permanent work. That's how they do it every day. Mm-hmm. So we were ahead of the game as far as that goes. But some of the employees, we are still working. Our office is open. We have doubled down on our cleaning capacity, and we have our cleaning crews come in more often. They wipe everything down. We have staff in the morning. They wipe the doorknobs all over again every morning before anybody comes into the office. We have hand sanitizers all over. Each girl has a workstation, and she is separated by much more than 3 feet. They're individual cubicles, so we're trying not to share meals at the same time, trying to work together. We wipe down anybody that uses a particular, for a phone, for example, it gets wiped down after they use it if it's not their permanent one. And even if it is their work site and their workstation, during the day, throughout the day, we wipe it down also. So we're doing those type of things, telecommuting when necessary. As I said, I have some girls already that are telecommuting, so we were a little ahead of the game for that. But it's very important. Every job is fits in our society somewhere and in our economy. We need to make sure that people are still working. They still have to get a paycheck. So that's why we did not close. We're not open to the public. We are limiting who can come in and out of our office. And before you actually can walk in our office, there's hand sanitizer. You have to wash it before the door will even be able to be opened.
Well, that's great to hear. Well, what do you see on the horizon as it relates to this COVID-19? I mean, are we? Somebody explained it yesterday as we were probably in the first inning of this. Do you agree with that, or do you think we're farther?
I do. Okay. I do think we're in the first inning, and I think right now we've got people on base and we are moving forward. I will tell you some of the exciting things that, I watch the news and I get updates all day long. We have some medications, and I think these pharmaceuticals are going to make a big impact. If we can stop the spread, give this 15 days and stop the social contact, I think that will make a tremendous difference. And our future will turn around. The stock market's going to come back. What comes down is going to go back up. We know that it will. And I do think that we'll learn from this. Again, we'll emphasize how much more we need to make investment in our rural health care, in our rural broadband. We are going to, as a state, move forward and do these things that need to be done. They should have already been done. And it's been an investment. It's been a lot of things that tied it up. I will share one of the things I'm very excited about is our bills that we passed allowing our EMCs to even be in the business of broadband. Prior to that passage of that bill, they weren't even allowed to be in the business. They were limited by laws what they could do. So we've changed that, and I will share that the first EMC has gone forward and filed papers to be able to deliver broadband. I think we're going to see a lot more activity like that. But again, we're going to look at our health departments again in some of these very small rural communities. We may use them as a center more broadly for their health care if they don't have other providers. There's a lot of things we're looking at now, a lot closer than we did before.
Well, thank you so very much for that. We appreciate your representation of our district up in Atlanta. I know that you've always got the best interest of your constituents at the forefront of your mind, and I certainly appreciate you making some time for us today, Representative Darlene Taylor, and we appreciate all that you're doing.
Well, thank you very much, and we appreciate y'all, and tell everybody just keep safe, keep their distance, and keep washing those hands.
We'll do it. Thank you so very much, and you stay safe.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That was Representative Darlene Taylor in my interview that was conducted, about 25 minutes ago, Ryan?
Seconds before we got
Yeah,
on air.
We walked in. He says, all right, bye, click.
Yeah. So, Johnny, when was the last time you washed your hands?
Just a second ago, actually.
Okay. Ryan?
Washed my hands like an hour ago. Hand sanitizer right when I came in the room.
Yeah. For those of you listening, I'm just going to ask you, when was the last time you washed your hands?
Yeah.
Right? Just wash your hands, man.
Right.
Wash your hands. Get you some hand sanitizer. If you don't have any hand sanitizer, there's this thing, it's called soap.
Right.
And you can just take it and rub it on your hands.
Right.
And, if you need to figure out, you're supposed to do it for 20 to 30 seconds.
Right.
You can sing the Florida State fight song, which when you include the FLORIDASTATE at the end, it comes out to 30 seconds. So what I like to do is I wash my hands to the tune of the fight song, and then when I get to that part, to the chanting the letters, I flick my fingers.
Florida State.
I flick the water off into the sink. FLO. So,
I heard him singing it in the bathroom yesterday.
I love it.
By the way, just a quick little note. Jay Bird says he's a big dog fan. So he was in the bathroom while I was washing my hands, and I was singing the Florida State fight song. I said, Jay, do you know the Georgia fight song?
Nope.
He said, no, I sure don't. I said, I thought you were a fan. Well, I reckon I'm not if I don't know the fight song. It's the Sack Lunch Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Jay Bird.
If you're in the game, then the stroke's the word.
Don't miss the Gravely Mow the Distance sale. 20% off retail on all commercial mowers. Southern Harvest Equipment, Wickham Dairy Road.
Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, Friday, March 20th. It's 10:36 on this funky Friday. Funky
I like
as
that
in,
song.
when was the last time you washed your hands?
We need to come up with we need to make us a rap.
Get Chase on it.
Get freestyle master in there.
Chase is the freestyle master.
He
We
is.
learned that, about a month ago? About the time the coronavirus showed up.
Yeah. Hey, jeez.
Things that make you go, It's time now for your sports, brought to you by Yates Concrete, making concrete sexy for 3 generations. Really, the biggest sports story has something to do with the Atlanta Falcons and a former Georgia Bulldog.
Oh.
Todd Gurley,
Oh.
after being released by the Rams yesterday,
What?
is now joining the Falcons on a 1-year deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Now, an interesting note. First of all, when he got released yesterday, Todd Gurley posted something. It was either on Twitter or Instagram. I can't remember. But it said basically, it was like, man, I got fired on my day off.
Well, he wasn't fired long.
Yeah.
That's a great pickup.
Well, it is
don't
and
think
it
so?
isn't. I mean, he's not the same running back that he
No.
was a couple of years ago. After he hurt his knee, he's
Yeah.
averaging about 3-point-something yards per carry.
Right.
I mean, he's not exactly, Herschel Walker out there
True.
right now. But, I mean, he's a good running back. And he's coming home.
Right.
He played in Athens.
Yeah, he did.
He was a big name there for the Bulldogs for a long time. I don't know if he, will be able to leave the state of California anytime soon.
Right. Yeah. He's playing for the Falcons, stuck in L.A.
And, what's it going to take to get into Atlanta right now? Would you even want to?
He'd probably
Road
drive.
trip.
Yeah, that's a road trip. That's too far.
The state of California announced yesterday, the governor of the state of California basically shut the state down. I mean, he basically said, without saying quarantine,
Right.
everything's quarantined.
Stay your carcass at home.
Yeah, I mean, there are like 3 places you can go: the grocery store, the bank, and
The
then
hospital.
Like, the hospital, I think, was the other place. Yeah. So,
Ryan, you all right, man?
Ryan's bored with the coronavirus talk.
I mean, it's everything right now.
It just is.
Like,
is,
I just want to talk about
bowling.
a sports team beating another sports
Oh, you
team.
can
I
forget
saw
that.
yesterday where the Blue Jays and the Cardinals were playing each other.
I saw some folks playing volleyball inside their living room.
It was a dude looking out the window watching birds fight over
Five
worms.
My
Yeah,
Lord.
I saw that. He was staring.
He said the Blue Jays were winning.
Well, okay. The sports video games have gotten pretty good now.
Yeah.
Right? So let's just get the football players to play themselves in an online game.
Right, yeah.
Like, let's just do something.
Well, the only problem with that is it would have to be Madden, and Madden is nowhere near as good as the old NCAA college
Well,
football
no,
game.
never.
not at all.
It can't reach it ever.
But
I know.
But it's still sports. We can
Right.
watch sports, and we can say.
Or you could just play online, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the thing with that.
Do y'all play? Do you play online?
Yeah.
I don't.
do.
I don't.
I don't know.
The most recent game that I have is like NCAA football, like 2011. So seriously, I mean,
I still play NCAA 14.
yeah. Was
like,
that the last one?
That was the last one.
So if I were to buy a console,
Yeah.
what between both of you, what would be the one that I would buy?
I mean, I would say Xbox. But,
Xbox.
I have an Xbox 360. Is that what you're talking about?
an Xbox One.
The one.
No, 360.
That's more than one.
I mean,
it's
360.
It's 360 times better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you only have one.
Okay.
You have a one.
Mine can do full 360.
360.
It can loop around. Okay. I mean, I have one of those too. So
Yeah, it's a DVD player now. And it plays like Frozen.
yeah.
Let it go. Let it go.
Yeah. That would be a great time for them to come out with the new NCAA college football
Right.
game.
Like
ESPN
now.
put something on Instagram yesterday. It was like they mocked up like an NCAA 2020 what it would look like.
Did they?
And like when I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw it, and just for a second, I thought it was real. And I was like,
Do you know how
I was
fast
like,
that
oh
would
my
sell
God.
right now?
Dude, I mean, hotcakes.
They couldn't. You think folks are freaking out about toilet paper and hand sanitizer? You release the new NCAA football game.
Yeah.
There's no way,
Right.
way it doesn't sell out within a day.
You
Yeah.
have the COVID-19 treatment. and the line for the game.
Well, you got you got everybody. That's a good way to keep these young folks at home.
Yeah. Right?
It is.
We just solved it.
We solved it. They'll be running off the beach.
Crisis done.
We just solved
New
it.
NCAA.
We can get these Gen Zers off the beach and into their whatever room it is they live in, and they will stay there for days on end.
Won't even eat.
No. Yeah.
Just zombified to the TV. NCAA.
President Trump, if you're listening,
Old Don.
we have figured it out.
We have.
You've gotten the private sector involved in this fight against COVID-19, which you declared an invisible enemy.
Right.
You've gotten them involved up to this point. We've brought in retailers. We've brought in pharmacies.
Right.
We've brought in all these experts in the private sector to go along with the scientists and healthcare professionals and everybody else in the government that's working hard to solve this problem. We've got one more layer.
EA Sports.
You have to
EA
get EA Sports and the NCAA in the same room.
Right.
And they've got to agree
Mandatory.
to create the new NCAA football game, and all these bros that are on the beach will go home.
I promise you. Hey, dog, you heard that's coming out. Hey,
You won't have to worry about like young people wanting to go on dates because all the men they'll be inside.
They won't care.
They won't care.
Girlfriend who? Like what?
Yeah.
Who cares that all the bars are closed?
Right.
We got NCAA football.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
There's
how
no
you could
better
go.
solution.
There's no way you can go wrong with that.
I mean, we're kind of playing about it, but it's true.
It is true.
I mean,
Oh
You're
yeah,
right.
I would play. I would play for days.
for
I mean,
2
like,
weeks, at least for 2 weeks.
I got the coronavirus. Yeah, I got to go.
when I was didn't have the responsibility of kids and other things in my
Right.
life, like it was nothing for me to sit there all day.
Oh,
like
yeah.
you just choose whatever day it is that I chose to just sit. If I didn't have to work that day, I'm not ashamed to say, or maybe I am ashamed to say,
Nah.
there were plenty of times where I skipped class to play video games all day long.
Yeah.
You walk in, Dustin's got that castaway beer like Tom Hanks has got.
I'll tell you another one they need to bring back. This is because at some point you're going to get tired of playing the football game.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you got to be there for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if they'll go ahead and create a new version of the NCAA baseball game, did you ever play that one?
I played MLB one.
Okay, the MLB was not as good as it
Really?
was made by EA Sports,
Right.
and it was only out for a few years.
I may have played it like once or twice. I didn't own it.
That was the game that I throwed the remote down because I couldn't beat Jonah.
The NCAA game?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I got sick of it.
the NCAA baseball game, you play a full baseball season.
Yeah.
So it's like
Wow.
50-something games.
Right.
And then you
You
play
played
the
in the
postseason,
postseason, right.
which is another 12 games for one season.
Yeah.
Dang.
So I might play 2 or 3 seasons in a weekend.
Right. Jonah was sitting there before church, and he had got up, put his pants on, didn't buckle them, and he's just sitting there with his, church shirt open, and he's playing the game. We're all trying to rush to get in the car to church. I was like, "Where's Jonah?" He heard me. He had the headphones on. I made him. I clicked it, and he was like, "No, I was in the middle of a season." I said, "You're about to be in the season of whippings. That's what you're about to be if you don't get in the car." And you say, "He's crying in the car. You cut my season off. I'm gonna have to go." I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't care. Shut up. Get in the car."
Man, it was awesome. They only had it for a few years. It was like maybe 2 or 3 years that they came out with. Maybe because of a lack of popularity. I don't know.
I guess.
But,
I don't know, but it was.
I mean,
good.
it was metal bat, so it was
ping. Yep.
ping.
Yeah.
And the stadiums were just like they were in the NCAA football game. They were like lifelike,
Right.
realistic.
Replicas of the stadium. Yeah.
I mean, if you hit it out in right field in Tallahassee in Florida State's what is now Dick Hauser Stadium,
Right.
Mike Martin Field at Dick Hauser Stadium.
Right.
If you hit it out, it landed on the circus.
Yeah.
I mean, between those two,
I love it.
we can get the bros back in the dorm rooms.
COVID-19 cured. Boom. NCAA.
That's part of the problem. And I'm not making excuses because somebody's mama needs to be grabbing somebody by the ear and
Boy.
getting them home. But I understand that's probably easier said than done to a 19 or
Right.
20-year-old boy.
But
And
not for me,
it's
it
It's
wouldn't
not
have
just dudes down there. It's girls down there too. But,
Right.
But my point is there's no sports to watch.
Right.
There's no sports center to watch.
Nope.
There's no, so quarantining in the house
Right.
for a 19 or 20-year-old sounds like the worst thing ever.
Oh, gosh. I
You
can't
know?
believe I got to stay inside all the time. Blah, 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 blah.
Did you find it?
NCAA 06.
The baseball game?
Yeah.
06? That was the last
It
one?
was only one?
It was.
Yeah,
looks like
that's
there
probably about
looks like
right.
there was an 07 too.
Yeah, that's probably
Huh.
about right because that's about when I was playing it.
I think
Right.
I played
Man.
06.
That was 14 years ago.
Right. What about Tiger Woods golf?
There's another good one.
Yeah.
I love Tiger Woods golf.
But they
man.
still make that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they still
I
make
think
golf.
so. Is Tiger still on the cover?
No,
I didn't think
I
so.
think it's just PGA Tour.
PGA Tour.
No.
I tell you what, them first two that came on Xbox, I kill you in it. I was good. That was the only game I could beat Jonah in.
What's that game that you play that's like the arcade version of golf? You know, where you got
Golden Tee.
Golden Tee.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. I would spend. I started dating this girl, and we spent like 3 dates playing Golden Tee.
I think we're on to something, fellas. I
think
we
so.
can get these young people back in their living rooms
Right.
if the video game industry will step up
That's right.
and come out with the replacements for these that we've
Right.
just talked about, and then whatever the new like Halo when I was growing
I
up,
never
it
played
was-
that.
or GoldenEye when I was in middle school.
I played
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. I mean,
remember that.
everybody played GoldenEye. So
Right.
whatever the new one is.
Right.
Fortnite, is that it?
Y'all remember Pong?
That was a little before my time.
That was
John.
way before
A
your
little
time.
bit.
It was before my time.
Before your mom and daddy's time. Pong. That was the best game out, man. You just watch the ball.
Is it Fortnite?
Is it Fortnite?
Or is that
Kinda.
for young kids?
Wow.
Kind of. Fortnite is still it.
Are you a
know.
Fortnite guy?
No, I've never.
Okay,
I've
but
never
yeah.
played a single.
What
game
about
of
The
Fortnite.
Sims?
The Sims?
Stop.
Nah, not
That's
that many people
weird.
play The
That's
Sims.
so weird.
Where you create like cities and
yeah,
stuff?
I create my own family at home.
It's true, but it
That's
costs you
child
more.
responsibility.
Yeah, it's more expensive at home.
Yeah.
I never got into the Sims game. What I mean is,
I mean, there's Call of Duty still.
Call of
Yeah.
Duty.
Call of
Okay.
Duty.
I got Call of
guess-
Duty Black Ops.
Fortnite.
I can't play that. I can't because the buttons. There's too many buttons, and I've caught myself running down, shooting the ground, and every time, like within seconds, I'm down. I said, man, I ain't playing a stupid game.
You got to look up
I know.
and then steer.
I know, and I'm like, if this is real military, I'm dead. It's over.
Hello, caller. Are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. Good morning. Go Knowles.
Go Knowles, man.
Morning.
Absolutely.
Top of the morning to you.
Uh-huh. Well, top of the morning to you, my brother. Don't be coming at me with no accent. Come here, you Big John. I'm sitting here, and I had a couple of points that I'm real interested in hearing Double D's take on this.
Okay.
I'm waiting on your mom to call and say you're setting a bad example telling all these kids to skip class and play video games, number one.
Well, first of all, if my mama listened, I wouldn't be telling all this stuff. But she's at work, and so I know she's not listening. But the other thing is, I mean, they're not in class right now anyway.
I agree. And to go along, and I won't take up any more of your time, but to go along with your video games, you're on to something. But why not get EA Sports or somebody to come up with a game called Spring Break 2020?
That's not a bad idea.
Like-
No. They can chase each other on the beach. They can do everything that you could do in a G-rated movie.
Right.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
yeah.
go. Some volleyball on the beach, running, stuff like that.
That's exactly right. And
Grill.
everybody's wearing bathing suits like they wore back in the 1920s.
There you go.
Not like they wear now.
Yeah.
My goodness, no.
Because it would not be a G game then.
You
No,
know,
sir.
Johnny
No,
wears
sir.
one of them real short. Yeah, he wears the short shorts bathing suits.
Yeah.
That's coming back in style.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah,
No,
please
no.
stop. I'm gonna poke my
Yeah.
own mind's eye out.
That's exactly right. And Brother John, I am older than you, and I remember Pong by Atari. And
There
it
you
was
go.
The best thing since sliced bread.
That's
brother.
right. Pong.
Y'all have
Pong.
a good day.
You
Thank
too, buddy.
We appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Ain't a bad idea.
I don't want to set a bad example, so if I have,
Go to class.
Go
I
to
apologize.
class. But you're not gonna be the only one there right now.
I
so,
will tell you, I suffered greatly.
by not going.
And I do not. I'll tell you the whole story one day if you want to hear it. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Do not hang up the phone.
No.
Who is that?
Who is that? Do not hang up the phone.
That's the best way to get hung up on.
I don't understand that. Do not hang up the phone. Okay. Click.
If you're listening out there and you're contemplating skipping class, which right now is not a thing because class don't exist. You got to go online, I guess.
Right now you can.
I can tell you from personal experience, you will suffer greatly if you do not attend. Your grades will suffer. You might even get kicked out of school.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
You'll be a Ghostbuster.
It's the Sack Lunch Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 11 o'clock on your Friday, March 20th. You know, somebody said, I want to make a clarification here, Johnny.
Okay.
First of all, Ryan said that I was a millennial.
Okay.
Didn't you say that?
I did say that.
Are you on the cusp of millennial?
I think he's right, technically speaking.
On paper.
I usually am.
Oh.
Throw that out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan the Magnificent.
Before it's put on me that I'm wrong. I just want to throw that out there.
I think you are technically right that I, based on the year I was born, am technically a millennial. And you are technically Gen Z.
Yeah.
You're the ones that are on the beach.
I'd like to read.
I was on the beach.
You were.
I'd like to read a tweet that has become really popular.
Okay, tell us.
When the tweet was by this person named Candace Benbow. She doesn't have the little check mark, so I think she's just a person with a Twitter account like me, okay?
Right.
But she, quote tweeted the CBS News video of the bro who's like, dude, if I get coronavirus, I get it, whatever.
So what?
And this is what she said. This is Generation Z. I want to name that because folks love calling everybody 40 and under millennials. Millennials are not at spring break.
Right.
Millennials are at home yelling at their boomer parents who won't sit still because they have faith over fear. She's right.
She is right.
You know, now, first of all, let me say this. I 100% agree we are not called to be fearful.
No, we're not.
Right? We
not
are
a spirit of fear.
No. We are called to trust in the Lord.
Right.
And he also says, that faith without works is dead. You
Is
got to
dead.
do your part.
Right.
And my papa, who's a preacher, is stay at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Smart folk.
I'm not arguing about churches being open or closed. I'm not
Right.
arguing about any of that.
Right.
In my opinion, in my family, we're going to watch church online.
Right.
And I know it's not the same.
Yeah, but it's church.
But it's church.
Right.
And I'm trying to do my part.
Do your part.
To help
Yeah.
the world get
Yeah.
over this. But
help us get back to normal.
I do want to be clear that the first part of her tweet about this is Gen Z, Ryan, not millennials.
Right. What am I?
You're
how old are you?
Star Wars.
47.
47?
I'm 47.
You're Gen Y?
I don't know.
You're between the boomers and the millennials. Gen Y.
Okay.
Which, by the way, boomer, I think, is a little bit of a derogatory
Baby boomer.
Okay.
classification.
Baby
because-
boomer.
Right.
Baby boomer.
No, baby boomers technically are those that were born after World War II, right?
Is that why they call it boom? Because it's the war.
Because the baby boom after the soldiers came over the war.
Right.
That's right.
Well, I mean, that would mean you'd have to be 60 or older,
that's
right?
Nah, I guess.
Hold on, let me just
Look it up, Ryan. Jeez. Why would we have you here?
The bottom line is, it doesn't matter whether you are a Gen Z, a millennial,
a boomer,
Gen Y, boomer, baby boomer.
Right.
You
need to be at home. It's where you need to be.
Okay. Baby boomers, 1946 to 1964.
Okay.
I'm not a boomer then.
Gen X, 1965 to 1985.
That's me. I'm an X.
Well, then I'm an X.
I'm an X. In your face.
Then you're an X. Good.
Because I was born in 1984.
Awesome.
I was born in 72.
Oh yeah, you're an X. I said
you
Y,
said
didn't I?
Y.
But there is no Gen Y. It's Gen X. Sorry.
X, Y, Z. Covering the bottom of
1984.
84.
No, sorry. 1980 to 1994.
So then there's a crossover between Gen X and millennial.
Wait. Okay, that's called Zennials. So you're a Zennial.
I'm a Zennial?
I'm a
But
Zennial.
You're a Zennial.
Okay, but I see what that's done. That's basically you're kind of in between. You can kind of classify it.
You're a tweener.
Awesome.
You're a tweener.
And then 1995 to 2012 is Gen Z.
Bunch of Z's.
So then anybody born in 2013. So my daughter,
Your daughter
Sadie,
is Gen Alpha.
Oh, she's alpha. She's an alpha. That's pretty good.
You know, most of the kids that would have graduated this spring, whose graduation ceremonies have been canceled.
That's so sad.
A lot of them were born in 2001, 2002.
Right. 99.
Right after, 2001,
Oh, that's
2002.
Right.
Right after 9/11. They came into this world sometime around 9/11, 2001, dealt with all of the Great Recession in 2008. Now, they weren't out there. When I say dealt with it,
they weren't struggling.
They weren't dealing with it. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
they're building houses.
Their life started at 9/11, thereabouts.
Right.
The war on terror, the Great Recession.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
I'm not feeling sorry for them because they're doing just fine. But
they've struggled through it.
I mean, they've had some pretty significant life events. You know, to be 18 years old, 18,
Hurricane Michael,
17, 18,
Michael, Katrina.
That's true. That was 2005.
Yeah.
See what happens when you have kids late?
It occurred to me this morning, though, and I'm not preaching at anybody. I'm not trying to scare anybody. But if you don't believe that, as the Bible puts it, these are labor pains.
Ooh, boy.
I'm just telling you, man, go and read the book for yourself and then compare what's going on. Just say the last 20 years to what it says will happen.
It'll match.
And you just tell it, you form your own opinion. I know what my opinion is.
I know what
it is that you better get right.
I'm telling you, times are getting close, boys.
And if you're out there driving around, maybe you just got back in your car, maybe you're getting into your car, ask yourself this question: when was the last time I washed my hands?
Right.
It's been too long, regardless what the answer to that question is.
The three of us in this room.
I just did it.
I think I did it about 20 minutes ago.
I hand sanitized just a minute ago.
Yep, but it's not the same.
No, but I washed before then, though.
Yep, it's not the same. You still need to wash with soap and water.
Right.
In just a little bit, you'll hear an interview that I did with Representative Darlene Taylor, and that was one of the biggest pieces of advice she gave.
Right.
First of all was that, let's keep washing our hands.
Yes.
But she also made a good point in this interview where she said, look, everybody's job plays a role in our economy.
Right.
Now, there have been some jobs that have been classified as necessary during this time, where a healthcare provider, a nurse, a doctor, somebody like that, they have to go to work.
Right. There ain't no way around it.
But everybody else needs to go to work. I'm not saying you should be going to work, but I'm saying, like, from a needs perspective, like, most people need to work.
Right.
Like,
most people you don't eat.
Most people need the check.
Right.
You know what I mean? So our jobs are very important.
Right.
If we don't take this seriously, this thing will stretch out longer and longer and longer.
Right.
If you can work from home, great. But there's some people that can't. I mean, it's hard to cut somebody's hair from the house.
Right.
Without interacting with them. You know what I mean? So if you can work from home, awesome, man.
Right.
If you have to go to work, then
just go.
Go to work, but
be cautious.
Wash your hands.
Yeah.
Use hand sanitizer. Right. Don't let Jaybird breathe on you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably a general rule.
He's probably
regardless of what else is going on.
Just don't.
Yeah. He's probably the main carrier of the corona.
Well, he's got the Jaybird flu.
He's got the bird flu.
Yeah. No, Jay is perfectly healthy as best we know. We're just teasing. Yeah, a big old Clydesdale horse with them wide Clydesdale hips.
How's it going, Jay?
Hey, coming up after the break, we're going to hear from Representative Darlene Taylor. Don't go anywhere. It's the Sack Lunch Show. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 11:18 on your Friday, March 20th. We are presented by David White and the gang at Cook's Appliance Services, the Bonnie Blue House, Dean Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, H&R Block in Bainbridge, Donaldsonville, and Blakely, ABAC at Bainbridge, Stewart Auto Parts, B3 Property Management, United Rentals, and the Nomad Nurse.
Don't forget Bell Payne Attorneys at Law, Brownlee Glass Company, Carter's Fried Chicken, Dr. Homer Breckenridge III, Hadaway Ford, Bernie's Transmission Specialist, and Stone's Home Centers.
We're also brought to you by Specialty Auto, Bainbridge DUI School, Dixie Dandy, Southern Harvest Equipment, Mitchell County Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, CNR Parts and Auto Body, and South Georgia Motorsports.
And don't forget New South Roofing, Grassy Cuts, Seminole Hydraulics, the law offices of Silvers Ambrose, Lindquist & Co., Westwood Schools, Hill Stump Grinding, Lane's Medical Shop, and Studio T.
It's now time for our favorite portion of the show. It's now time for Tell Me Something Good, brought to you by the law office of Silvis Ambrose, Lindquist & Co. We're going to keep it local today, boys.
Go ahead.
There's plenty of good going on in our neck of the woods, including local businesses that have stepped up to feed kids.
Yes.
During this tough time, kids are out of school. They're having a hard time eating. You know, for a lot of kids, that's the only meal they get.
Right.
You know, in the mornings and at lunchtime. So, with the schools being closed, and of course the schools are doing their part to try to continue to distribute meals as well.
Right.
But several local businesses have stepped up. Isaac's Bakery has joined in with Pepsi here in Bainbridge and the Kids and Cops program there at Bainbridge Public Safety. And they're providing meals all week long.
From 12 to 1, I think?
12 to 1.
Right.
You go to Bainbridge Public Safety's headquarters on Louise Street.
That's kids age only.
Yep, yes, school age only.
School age only.
I saw where J3 Barbecue was fixing sack lunches today. So
cool.
There are lots of people in and around our area that are doing their part to step up and help these kids eat.
I have to say, being in a small town, it has its downfalls sometimes. But I tell you, when crisis comes, I never seen a town pull together like we have here in Bainbridge.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's pretty amazing, actually.
We got some good people here in Bainbridge.
Good old Southern hospitality.
Yep. Southwest Georgia as a whole, lots of communities in our listening area that have stepped up to make sure these kids don't go hungry during this tough time.
Right.
You know, these school systems, I want to give a shout out to the school systems. They basically went from everything's normal to online school in a day or two.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, kids are still. I mean, my little girl Sadie's teacher is sending out messages constantly. You know, they use these apps that you can, you log, you get added to a group,
like a school something.
Group Me, I think is the name of the app, and she's constantly sending stuff out. In fact, she just a minute ago, this will tell you that they are still working as educators.
Right.
She said. The kids that are working at home, doing this schoolwork at home, they need to be keeping these papers.
Right.
Because she said we're in ongoing discussion about the best way to do grades. School's not out.
They just at
They
home.
just can't go.
Right. Well, hey, hats off to them. You know what? They don't get paid enough, I think.
Big shout out to educators. Big shout out to the people like my wife that are at home with kids right now.
Right.
Trying to,
Jesus, take that wheel.
Yeah, really. All of a sudden, spankings and prayer are back in school.
Back in school, baby.
Yeah. I got to tell you, a big shout out to the mamas or daddies, whoever's staying at home, grandmamas, whoever it is that's keeping these kids. By the way, all of a sudden, Common Core math, can't imagine it's being taught at home.
No, that math is out the window
they
for the next.
Carrying the one, baby. I promise you.
You are counting with your fingers.
Yeah, let me tell you something, son. 10 times 10 is 100.
Right.
And I know it because I learned my timetables.
Right. Now write this in cursive.
Have you seen The Incredibles 2? You got.
No, I think I've only seen The Incredibles.
There's like the scene where the dad's like, math is math.
Yeah,
why would they change math?
Right. He's right.
Yeah, that's a good movie, by the way.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, I've only seen the first one, I think. I don't think I've seen the second one.
Yeah, it's good.
But it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so
And he's right.
Right. Math is math.
Math is math.
Wait, is The Incredibles 2, is that the one where it starts with him, like, having used to been a superhero?
No, that's the first one.
That's the first
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Where he's dressed like normal.
Yeah, and he's in like a cubicle
job.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he like slams the car.
And then he ends up getting mad at his boss and throwing him through the wall.
Yeah, that's first.
I love the way he's shaped.
Yeah.
He's like he's built like a whale.
It's like Rock and Rod.
Right, yeah.
He's shaped like Rock and Rod. Just his shoulders are 6 feet wide. Think about it.
Oh, Papa Incredible in there.
Yep.
Another name for Rock and Rod.
Yep.
Oh, Incredible Dad.
So what is the premise behind The Incredibles 2?
Yeah. Tell us, Ryan.
Miss Incredible is like
Miss Incredible.
Miss Incredible.
She turns bad?
It's been a little bit since I've watched it.
It's not where the drill comes up out of the ground like it happens at the end of Incredibles 1.
No, they didn't ever go anywhere with that.
That's what I thought would happen.
Yeah.
I think they made a game actually about that.
Oh,
but they never
okay.
made a movie. But,
Bring that game back. No,
But I don't. It's been a while since I watched it, so I don't remember it all. But basically, she gets to be a superhero again, and
nice.
like
Right.
the family has to deal with her being off.
So roles are reversed.
Yeah.
And that's why Dad's at
That's
home
why Dad
teaching
is
them.
teaching math.
Oh.
Math
and
is
is
math.
dealing with the Common Core.
Well, I mean, he's right. Math
Is math.
is math. I mean, right?
Yeah,
What was the name of the movie that Will Smith was a superhero?
the one that just came out.
No. But he's a normal guy. He's a superhero.
Oh,
What's the name of that movie?
it's like
I don't
Looper. Is that what it is?
Looper.
Are y'all making stuff up?
No.
No,
He's a superhero and he don't know it.
No.
What's the name of the movie?
Will Smith is in Men in Black,
Right.
Independence Day,
Right.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Right.
Hancock.
Hancock. That's it.
Y'all are making stuff up. He
No.
was in that. He was in that movie where I Am Legend, where he has to eat his dog.
Right. Oh, yeah. I saw that.
Yeah.
Did he play? No. He didn't play in that. That was Denzel played in that movie where he knew the Bible.
Are you talking about the one where
Eli.
he's the gangster?
No, Eli.
American Gangster?
Oh, no. That was good, though.
That was a good one.
That's a really good
When he's
movie.
eating breakfast
Yeah.
with all of his brothers.
That's a great movie. That's fire.
I was sitting there watching that, did not see that coming.
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
American Gangster?
I don't know.
Denzel Washington is a gangster. Have you ever seen the movie?
No, I haven't
Okay,
seen it.
so
Rent it.
we're not going to tell you all the,
Yeah,
because
we
it's a
can.
good one.
Yeah.
Can you rent movies anymore?
I mean,
On Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So he's a gangster. He becomes a gangster.
Right.
And he brings his family into the business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as he's introducing them to this new venture that they're going to be doing as a family, he sees somebody and he's like at a diner. He sees this person on the street.
Mm-hmm.
He excuses himself from the table, and then he gets up and goes and handles that situation like in broad daylight in front of everybody, and comes and sits back down and eats his breakfast. That's when you realize, like,
Right.
he's that kind of
Yeah.
gangster.
Yeah. He walks outside
Yeah.
and handles his business, come back inside and finishes eating.
Yeah.
It's pretty
It's
yeah.
really good. You should watch it.
I
It's a
have to
good
watch it.
movie.
Don't watch it with kids.
No, it is definitely rated R.
It's definitely a grown folk movie.
Quick little hit on your Southwest Georgia area news, driven by Action GM on Highway 84 East in Bainbridge. The good news is Action GM is offering financing 0% for 84 months.
84 months.
Plus,
That's
you
7
don't have
years.
to make a car payment for 4 months. So Jay made a good point. That's really 88 months.
Yeah.
88 months.
For real.
Yeah, that's a
That's a long
7-year-old.
time.
Yeah.
That's a 7-year-old.
88 months, 0% interest at Action GM. That applies to all 2019 models
Right.
and 2020s to include the Silverado and the Sierra and the Buick Encore. All
Tracks,
sorts of
Equinox.
you can get a great deal on a vehicle. If you're unsure about the next few months, how you going to pay the bills, hey, maybe just go get a new car and not have
Right.
to worry about a car payment for 4 months.
Roll up for 4 months. Smile.
And at 0% interest, you might end up with a car payment that's lower than what you're already paying. If you're
Right.
paying interest on another note.
Right.
I mean,
Why not?
Man.
Action GM, Southwest Georgia's favorite neighbor. All right, here's the update,
Update us.
okay? First of all, the state of Georgia's total number of confirmed cases of COVID-19 has increased from yesterday. That is not, unexpected.
Nothing new.
Expected it to continue to increase every day
Right.
for the next couple of weeks because there are more tests being administered.
Yes.
Results are coming back. We increased yesterday. They do this at noon every day, by the way.
Okay.
We increased yesterday to 287 total cases.
All right.
We were at 197 on Tuesday.
Right.
So it went up, what's that, 90?
Yeah.
90 confirmed cases. The death toll here in our state has doubled to 10 total deaths here in the state of Georgia. The number of people in the state tested in both state and commercial labs is 1,831.
Wow.
So just because somebody's being tested,
Right.
we've got almost 300 confirmed cases.
Right.
There have been 1,831 tests. That's a sixth of those that have been tested came back confirmed.
Did you say 10?
10 deaths.
Fatalities.
The most cases were reported in Fulton County with 66. Dowdy County has now 20 confirmed cases.
That's what I heard.
All of those, by the way, are linked back to a funeral.
Yes.
That was held. So
yeah.
At the Capitol in Atlanta, all of the Georgia lawmakers have been urged to isolate themselves after a state senator who participated in the emergency vote on Monday tested positive for the disease. Senator Brandon Beach, an Alpharetta Republican, said he was screened for the disease on Saturday when he sought medical attention for a cough and mild fever, but the test results didn't arrive until Wednesday. Now, in the interview that you'll hear between myself and Darlene Taylor, she kind of says, look, he probably should have stayed at the house.
Right.
He should have heeded the instructions of those that know what they're talking about when they say, look, if you're sick or you've been around somebody who's sick,
exactly,
stay home.
Stay home.
And in this case, it was an emergency session where they were approving an amended budget for the governor, but they had the votes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not like it was possibly not going to pass.
This is the one time where your vote did not matter.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately,
you could have stayed home.
Now he has, put in jeopardy the other lawmakers and the lieutenant governor. On Thursday, Governor Brian Kemp said that he was, quote, very concerned about the coronavirus outbreak in Albany, where there have been 4 deaths related to the disease, saying, quote, this situation cannot be more serious. Dowdy County's 4 COVID-19 deaths are the highest number of any county in the state, followed by Floyd and Fulton counties. State officials are acknowledging that the Albany area is a, quote, hot spot for the virus, and the spread in that community has been linked to 2 recent heavily attended funerals in the area.
Wow.
Long story short, I would stay out of Dowdy County.
I'd have canceled the funeral.
Well, I think,
I'm saying not, not cancel, but this is family's own. You know
well, unfortunately, a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, things didn't seem quite as serious as they do now.
I mean, you think we would have learned from Hurricane Michael?
Well,
because we didn't really take
this
that.
is entirely different.
I'm just saying, just for the, let's be prepared type. And then everybody just do what you're supposed to do. Wash your hands, do that, stay home. It's pretty easy.
It's the Sack Lunch Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 11:39 on your Friday, March 20th. When was the last time you washed your hands?
Oh, me.
Whoever this applies to,
Right.
Last break.
wash
Last
your
break.
hands.
Wash your hands.
We need to come up with like a Disney song.
Right.
I'm sure there already is one.
I mean, Baby Shark can make it. I think Wash Your Hands can make it.
Yep. Oh, I got one.
There you go.
The last time I've been on a cruise ship twice in my life.
Okay.
And, on a cruise ship, they're all
Oh,
about
yeah.
washing your hands and all that.
Yeah.
And they sang, instead of I want to hold your hand, it was wash your hands, which I thought was kind of creepy.
I want to wash your hands.
Sir, please.
No.
I'll wash my own
No,
hands.
no, I'm good. Let me change your socks. Mr. Deeds.
When the first time he did that, I said, did he say he wants to wash my hands?
How about you get punched in the nose?
I'm going to wash my own hands.
Yeah. You
But
get these
thank
feet,
you for
though.
the reminder.
My back, I can't reach it. You can grab it out if you want.
All right, I'm going to play an interview here that we did earlier this morning with Representative Darlene Taylor. She's District 173 representative here in the state of Georgia. Tune in and see what Representative Taylor has to say about the coronavirus.
Giving us the 411.
What the state's doing about it.
All right.
What she's doing about it as a small business owner.
Cool.
And what you can do about it. Here's Darlene Taylor.
The internet.
Absolutely.
Telecommute. That's their permanent work. Pharmaceuticals are going to make a big impact if we can stop.
Horizon as it relates to this COVID-19. I mean, are we? Somebody explained it yesterday as we were probably in the first inning of this. Do you agree with that, or do you think we're farther?
I do.
Okay.
I do think we're in the first inning, and I think right now we've got people on base and we are moving forward. I will tell you some of the exciting things that I think right now we've got people on base and we are moving.
Okay.
I do think we're in the first inning, and
somebody explained it yesterday. Farther,
I do.
Okay.
I do think we're in the first. Again, I watch the news and I get updates all day long. We have some medications, and I think these pharmaceuticals are going to make a big impact. If we can stop the spread, give this 15 days, and stop the social contact, I think that will make a tremendous difference, and our future will turn around. The stock market's going to come back. What comes down is going to go back up. We know that it will. And I do think that we'll learn from this. Again, we'll emphasize how much more we need to make investment in our rural health care, in our rural broadband. We are going to, as a state, move forward and do these things that need to be done. They should have already been done. And it's been an investment. It's been a lot of things that tied it up. I will share one of the things I'm very excited about is our bills that we passed allowing our EMCs to even be in the business of broadband. Prior to that passage of that bill, they weren't even allowed to be in the business. They were limited by laws what they could do. So we've changed that, and I will share that the first EMC has gone forward and filed papers to be able to deliver broadband. I think we're going to see a lot more activity like that. But again, we're going to rural communities. We may use them that, but again, we're going to, I think, look at our health departments again in some of these very small rural communities. We may use them as a center more broadly for their health care if they don't have other providers. There's a lot of things we're looking at now, a lot closer than we did before.
It's time now for your Southwest Georgia area news, driven by Action GM on Highway 84 East in Bainbridge, where you can finance for free. 0% financing for 84 months right now at Action GM, plus 4 months with no payments. Action GM, Southwest Georgia's favorite neighbor. Call 243-0800. You can hear the full interview with Representative Darlene Taylor at our website, Sowegalive.com. That's been your Southwest Georgia area news, driven by Action GM on Highway 84 East in Bainbridge, where you can finance for 84 months at 0% interest, plus 4 months of no payments. Action GM, 243-0800. We recently spoke with Representative Darlene Taylor to get her perspective as a legislator and small business owner in Southwest Georgia on the most recent developments related to COVID-19. Here's an excerpt from that interview. (800) We recently spoke with Representative Darlene Taylor. To get her perspective as a legislator and small business owner in Southwest Georgia on the most recent developments related to COVID-19. Here's an excerpt from that interview. Here's an excerpt from that interview.
I watch the news and I get updates all day long. We have some medications, and I think these pharmaceuticals are going to make a big impact on healthcare if they don't have other providers. There's a lot of things we're looking at now, a lot closer than we did before.
You can hear the full interview with representatives related to COVID-19. Here's an excerpt from that interview.
I watch. Okay. I do think we're in the first inning.
What do you see on the horizon as it relates to this COVID-19? I mean, are we? Somebody explained it yesterday as we were probably in the first inning of this. Do you agree with that, or do you think we're farther?
I do. Okay. I do think we're in the first inning, and I think right now we've got people on base and we are moving forward. I will tell you some of the moving forward. I watch the news. Moving forward. I watch.
What do you excerpt from that interview? What do you see?
And we are moving forward. I will tell you some of the exciting things that I watch the news and I get updates all day long. I will tell you some of the exciting things that I watch. Base and we are moving forward. I will tell you some of the exciting things that I watch the news and I get updates all day long. We have some medications and
Here's an excerpt from that interview. What do you see on the horizon as it relates to this COVID-19? I mean, are we? Somebody explained it yesterday as we were probably in the first inning of this. Do you agree with that, or do you think we're farther?
I do. Okay. I do think we're in the first inning, and I I think right now we've got people on base and we are moving forward. I will tell you some of the exciting things that, I watch the news and I get updates all day long. We have some medications, and I think these pharmaceuticals are going to make a big impact. If we can stop the spread, give this 15 days, and stop the social contact, I think that will make a tremendous difference. And our future will turn around. The stock market's going to come back. What comes down is going to go back up. We know that it will. And I do think that we'll learn from this. Again, we'll emphasize how much more we need to make investment in our rural health care, in our rural broadband. We are going to, as a state, move forward and do these things that need to be done. They should have already been done. And it's been an investment. It's been a lot of things that tied it up. I will share one of the things I'm very excited about is our bills that we passed allowing our EMCs to even be in the business of broadband. Prior to that passage of that bill, they weren't even allowed to be in the business. They were limited by laws what they could do. So we've changed that, and I will share that the first EMC has gone forward and filed papers to be able to deliver broadband. I think we're going to see a lot more activity like that. But again, we're going to, I think, look at our health departments again in some of these very small rural communities. We may use them as a center more broadly for their health care if they don't have other providers. There's a lot of things we're looking at now, a lot closer than we did before.
You can hear the full interview with Representative Darlene Taylor at our website, SowegALive.com. That's been your Southwest
as a center more broadly for their health care if they don't have other providers. There's a lot of things we're looking at now, a lot closer than we did before.
You can hear the full interview with Representative Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 11:53 on your Friday, March 20th. A quick little segment here. That was Representative Darlene Taylor. You can hear the full and complete interview if you missed something on our website, SowegALive.com. Thoughts on that, fellas?
She's just spot on. She's dead spot on. She's got it all in perspective. Common sense, pretty much what that rolls out to be. Common sense. Be mindful of others.
Just give the people who know what to do time to do it.
Yep, that's it.
Be all right.
Yep. Hey, that could be a good song. Everybody's washing your hands. Oh, I don't know. That's how it's coming up.
Everybody's staying home for the weekend.
No, everybody stay home all weekend. Don't come out. We don't want your...
Jay Bird.
If you got the bird flu.
Hey, in all seriousness, you've still got to eat.
Yes, you do.
We get that. A lot of people still have to work.
Right.
All of that's legitimate. Use common sense.
Please.
We'll be broadcasting live at the Piggly Wiggly Food for Less this afternoon from 3:30 to 5:30. Normally, we're there telling you to come on out. Check out these specials.
Yeah.
These power buys. And they've still got those.
Oh, those are there.
But more importantly, we want to communicate the message that the Pig has going right now. And that is, first of all, that senior citizens can shop from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Monday through Friday with no interruptions.
Right.
Freshly cleaned store, freshly cleaned carts,
Right.
that type of thing.
Sanitized.
Senior citizens, the elderly in our population, seem to be the ones that are being hit the hardest
Yes.
by COVID-19. So we'll be there. They've got toilet paper. They've got bottled water. They're all the registers are open.
They're limited, so don't go in there and think you're going to buy up everything.
Well, they're limiting quantities. They've got a large supply, but the reason they have a supply is because they're not letting Johnny come in and buy all the toilet paper.
Right. Then go down the street and sell it for $22 a bag.
Right.
Roll or whatever.
So we'll be broadcasting there this weekend. I would normally on a Friday encourage you to be in church on Sunday.
Right.
Today, I'm going to encourage you to watch a church service on the internet.
Or have church at your house with your family.
Have church at the house. You can listen to church services on our radio stations on Sundays. My family and I, we're going to have a little family devotion. We're going to watch our preacher. Now, our church is a big church. They normally have it on TV anyway. Right. But they are also streaming it on the internet and that kind of thing.
Yep.
There are plenty of options like that if you don't have a church of your own to call home, and now's a good time.
I told your dad today, I said, if you guys have church Sunday, you got a wheelchair access. Well, my mom, she has to use the bathroom many times during the course of a church service. So I said, well, you think you'd get mad if she got up like 5 times during your message? Because she'll have to,
Yeah.
And that's the reason why she don't want to go is because she, it clanging a wheelchair.
Well, right now, I would say the best thing for your mom, Johnny, is
stay home.
Is to watch it on TV or
let me preach to her.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
Man, have a devotion in your living room, man.
I can do it. We'll have a full-blown choir, everything.
Yeah.
All right, y'all stand up, sing.
You got robes and all?
All right, hey, we got bathrobes.
That'll work.
We come out clapping.
Hey, we appreciate y'all listening to this Friday edition of the Sack Lunch Show. Good Lord willing, we'll be back on Monday.
Oh, we are.
Don't miss the ride this afternoon from 4 to 6. Actually, no ride. Because we'll be at the Pig. So
no ride. The bus stops, you have to go to the bus stop.
We'll see you Monday. Thanks for listening.